For centuries, the Korean people existed as a homogeneous and singularly governed people during the Silla, Goryeo, and Joseon dynasties. Despite a total annexation of Korea and the collapse of the Korean Empire in 1910, the people still held a singular identity as a people. Following the end of World War II, ideological differences emerged as Korea was split between the Communist North and the capitalist South, and the following Korean War cemented the nations as ideological opposites among its people. Perhaps one of the most perplexing questions in global politics today is what if they became one again? What would be the ramifications on the people, its history, its society, and even the global world order? So today, let's answer the question of, what would actually happen if Korea reunited? To imagine a unified Korea, we have to look back at the roles that both the northern and southern regions of Korea played throughout history. The capital of the Goryeo dynasty wasn't actually even in Seoul at all. It was in present-day Gaeseong, North Korea, making it a very historical location. The northern regions of Goryeo were known for their immense mineral wealth, timber, and their fur trade. Being extremely mountainous, throughout Goryeo, Joseon, and the occupation by Japan, the north served as mineral reserves of iron, gold, silver, and copper. To this day, North Korea holds mines of rare earth metals, zinc, and one of the world's largest deposits of magnesite. In contrast, South Korea has far fewer natural resources, but with its flat land, the southern regions were the main agricultural engine throughout history. This in part is why modern North Korea didn't have as much of a famine problem when compared to North Korea, as South Korea could grow essential crops in bigger numbers than the North. While the North certainly has port cities such as Wonsan, the South has far bigger and more convenient port cities such as Incheon, Pohang, and Busan, further pushing its economic capabilities. That being said, is a unification even possible? While the idea of unification is one that South Koreans support in principle, the realistic opinions vary wildly. Older generations who lived through or right after the Korean War still largely hold the opinion that it is a goal that should be achieved. However, younger generations are worried about the economic and social impacts that would occur, such as rising taxes, economic disruptions, ideological differences, and integration challenges. North Korea is much harder to pinpoint, as they are so closed off and the Kim regime is the only source of public opinion. Before recently, North Korea had the ultimate goal of eventual reunification, claiming itself as the true Korean government. However, with deteriorating political relations, in 2024, North Korea amended its constitution and labeled South Korea as a separate and enemy state, after 75 years of claiming both as one nation. According to political analysts, there are three probable ways the two nations could eventually merge: a gradual integration of both countries, the collapse of North Korea, which is also regarded as the most disruptive and possibly dangerous possibility, and opening of borders and a possible reunification later. But with a theoretical unification also comes a whole host of challenges that the world has never seen before. The most surface-level change would be the name and the flag that this new unified country would adopt. The naming theories alone have caused much discourse throughout domestic and international political scientists. The general consensus is that the Republic of Korea, which is the full name of South Korea, would simply apply to the whole United Korea. However, some have also supported the idea of reutilizing the Goryeo name, as it is where the English name Korea originated from. Interestingly, the name Joseon is widely regarded as not very possible at all due to how politically charged it is. The general public has a rather negative view of the Joseon dynasty due to its weakness in the face of Japanese imperialism, but it also is the current name of North Korea to natives. The possible flag is also one that has been talked about recently as well. If the South were to absorb the North, there is little doubt that the current South Korean flag would continue to be used. The two countries actually created a unified flag for use in international sporting events and made headlines at the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. Many people watched the two teams walk together under one flag during the opening ceremony, and the flag also entered academic discussions. While the flag is important to national identity, there are a host of other issues to tackle that carry far more weight in a potential unification. A reunification of the two Koreas would be one of the biggest economic transformations of the 21st century, far surpassing that of East and West Germany after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. In the short term, most believe that a newly reunified Korea would cause massive economic problems and at worst a recession, due to South Korea taking on the majority of North Korea's economic deficiencies. North Korea has limited infrastructure, healthcare systems, and an income level 25 to 30 times below that of South Korea. Mass migration for work has potential to cause a huge shortage of housing and labor market opportunity, which is already facing issues in the South today. These issues alone are why many South Koreans in the modern day oppose a theoretical reunification, regardless of history and sharing the same people. Assuming a reunified Korea can get past these initial struggles, massive opportunities will become apparent. North Korea holds a workforce of around 26 million people, low labor costs, and significant deposits of natural resources that are untapped. With a combined Korea, train networks could finally be connected from South Korea all the way to China, Russia, and even Europe via the Trans-Siberian Railroad, in addition to added maritime trading through additional ports such as Wonsan and Nampo. Combined with the ability to quickly create essential industrial manufacturing through South Korean chaebols such as Samsung, Hyundai, LG, and POSCO, a reunified Korea could quickly become one of the world's most powerful and influential industrial powers. That being said, reunification cannot be observed from a strictly economic standpoint. The two Koreas have been separated for more than 70 years, far surpassing that of East and West Germany. Decades of ideological differences have drastically altered how both nations observe each other and the world. Communist North Korea has long viewed the South and the greater Western world as enemies, while the South has a very negative view of communism as a whole. As is, North Korean defectors in South Korea face many challenges in the workplace, in opportunity, and in overall trust. A reunification would create massive social issues in the reintegration process, which could take decades. Views on government authority, individual freedom, media and information, and education would almost certainly mean North Koreans being relegated to a class separate from South Koreans for a very long, extended amount of time. Despite this, consolidating all Korean people would also mean that the ever-looming South Korean population crisis could find relief without the use of foreign immigrants, which has long been a point of contention in the modern era. The North Korean government would also be a huge point of contention as well. Assuming South Korea absorbs North Korea, political and military accountability would also present itself. What would become of the top echelons of the former North Korean government? A system reminiscent to the World War II-era Nuremberg or Tokyo tribunals could potentially take place, but several factors, including the enormous number of North Korean people being involved in the government or military, transition concerns, and domestic or international pressure, could influence if and who would be put on trial. If anything, opposite a modern-day denazification process, time would be essential for total reintegration of North Koreans into a unified Korean society. However much a potential reunification may be viewed positively, the reality is that it will hold massive international impact. North Korea has recently worked closely with Russia, providing troops and resources to its war efforts in Ukraine. This, of course, would also have to be addressed diplomatically, regardless of if any particular conflict is active. Perhaps an even bigger concern is the relationship North Korea has with China. While not supported in all aspects, China views North Korea as a geographical buffer between itself and the American forces present in South Korea. With the largest U.S. foreign presence located in South Korea and nearly 30,000 U.S. military personnel present, China would not like those forces on its border in the event of a potential reunification. A massive influx of refugees and North Korean nuclear weapons also presents a major threat to Chinese market and regional stability, so in this case, China is presented with a serious conundrum that would have to be rectified diplomatically. China would have to take steps to ensure its own regional presence as well as ensuring no threats could be levied against it. The United States would also be forced to move both economically and militarily. Securing regional stability more than twice the landmass that it currently does in South Korea means more investment in military infrastructure and personnel. This, in addition to massive investment, means that the United States stands to benefit from a potential reunification, while also taking on the role as a world superpower and global leader in various ways. The reunification of North and South Korea is a dream that many dream of, but also are very fearful of. In the 21st century, the two countries have created an atmosphere of uncertainty, instability, and possibilities that are impossible to quantify. With thousands of years of history between the two, the people are hopeful of positive outcomes, but the passage of time has blurred the lines of what is possible. While a reunification between the two nations is something that is often discussed, it is in nature difficult to conceptualize. One can only hope that when that day comes, a unified Korea can integrate itself into the modern world as a strong and prosperous nation. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you can see more videos just like this.